Hello, anyone that was here earlier. Said I was going to go live later with a different topic. This is one of my more serious topics because I've seen lots of videos where people do full stack videos and show everything they got in a cover table with different amounts and types of silver. And in general, we're going to just get right to the point on this. I don't really think it's a good idea. I mean, granted, a lot of these YouTube people, they do a video like this where all you see is a hand and some various stuff. And a lot of them don't even have addresses. Hello, CCC. A lot of them don't have addresses. And so you don't know where they live. If they don't even have, any kind of indicator as to where they are, they could be anywhere in the world doing this. Generally speaking, a lot of them are in the United States, though. But there are a few of these guys that while they don't really do full stack videos, they've done enough videos and they've shared their face and the fact that they have businesses, if they are a business and stuff. So this is a stack of dimes. It's 18 of them, mostly Roosevelts. It's a 64. There's a couple Mercury ones in this. One of them in super bad shape. I guess it's the one in my hand. It's the least worn and damaged. This is for the treasure chest challenge. Now, anyway, getting back to the point. The bigger channels I'm talking about is like Silver Seeker. His face is shown on all the time, and if you watch enough of his videos, you know approximately where he lives. But that's not the point. The point is his face is on the internet a lot, and if you see him out and about, and you watch these kind of videos, you'll recognize him. Another guy that's even a bigger channel is Rob Finds Treasure, and there's a lot of his videos where he shows his face. So if you go to a coin show and he's there, you're going to know who he is if you've watched any of his videos to speak of. And then the third guy is Daniel Malone, who does Coin Help You. Those three guys are, pretty famous in the YouTube silver coins, collectibles, that kind of thing. There's a few other ones too that are, like the guy from Treasure Town, or I think that's what it's called. He's done a lot of videos over the years, and I think his name's Christian. He shows his face a lot too. But I still don't think it's a real good idea to show your whole stack. Now, as more and more people around the country and around here start watching my videos, they might recognize my voice. If I go to a coin show and they've watched some of my videos, they might recognize my voice. But I haven't shown my face yet on a video, and I'm not sure I will. Because to me, it's more about like teaching about coins and little stories and the other stuff. Now, if this, I'll show you the date, 1928. If this was actually a Philadelphia one, this would be one of the lowest mintage dollar coins there is. Something like 300 and something thousand were minted, but it's the estimate one, which is over $1 million. Now, one coin dealer I buy coins from told me once, you buy a 28 Philadelphia coin, he recommends buying one that's been graded because he says if it's loose like this, someone could take this coin, doctor the estimate mark off of it carefully, and you might not be able to tell that it's been removed unless you look at it real close under a loupe. I don't know exactly how they do it. They probably use some kind of grinding stone and just barely work at it till it's gone. I mean, it's not a real big mint mark to begin with. I mean, it's tiny. So it could be took off of here. But yeah, this And then this one, if this was uncirculated, this would be a pretty valuable coin because it is a 1934S. And apparently, from what I understand, San Francisco released most, if not all, these to general circulation. The number of ones that are uncirculated, mint state 60 or higher, is pretty low. And if I remember my recent prices right, mint state 65 one, which there ain't very many of them, is about an $8,000 coin or something like that. Now, in general circulated one like this, these two coins were in a bag at $27 each if you pick them. It had 21 Morgans, 1921s, and it had a bunch of peace dollars. And I was thinking when I first saw it, there will probably be a bunch of 22s, 23s, 24s, maybe a 25, 26, something like that. All the common years. This particular bag had 16 from 1927, this 28 one, which is a San Francisco, and it had 34s and 35s in it. Quite a few 27s. In fact, they had the PD&S, and that's a full year set. Now, the 28 didn't have Denvers. And if I remember correctly, one of the 34 or 35 was just Philly and San Francisco. And the other year had PD&S, but I can't remember which is which. I want to say 35 is the one that had PD&S, but I could be wrong. Well, there's a quick way to do this. Oh, I guess when you have a blue book or a red book handy, we'll just go over to the dollar coins real quick. Peace dollars 21 to 35. Pull this down, and it is the 35. I don't know if I'll be able to get this in such a position. 34P, 34D, 34S. And this is a 1973 blue book. So the prices are way outdated. And this is what you would generally expect to be paid. But if you look at the peace dollars on this, uncirculated prices there, top all the way down to 34S there, was the highest one in uncirculated. And this is what you expect the blue book's what you expect to sell them for. So even back then, it was considered a pretty expensive coin in terms of peace dollars. I mean, a lot of these common date ones back then, uncirculated ones, they only said they were like $2.90, $3, $3.40. Most of them aren't too high. Now the ones from 27 through 35, all those coins, none of them exceeded 2 million in production. In fact, the 28S was 1.6 million, which is kind of the highest of the later ones, except for the 35S, which is almost 2 million. None of them were over 2 million, or reached 2 million total. So they didn't make very many peace dollars from 27 to 28, which is why I thought that was kind of interesting. But like I said at the beginning, talking about doing a full stack video, this particular table, I wouldn't want to try to put all of them on in any way, shape, or form, because just laying out the pile of stuff I have for the treasure chest challenge, which I just added these 18 dimes to it. Let me go ahead and tally that up. I got a piece of paper here that I've been keeping a running total. All right. My writing isn't always the best. I think my math is pretty good on this. That's not a 6, it's a 0. So $87.05. That's because it's an odd number of quarters. But apparently everything else adds out to an even number. Get one more quarter in there and it'll go Well, it'll be an odd number, being that it would be 87.30, but it'd be to the dime. And then it'd just be 7 more dimes to make it $88 in total, which I don't think will be too hard to do. Dimes are still pretty available, and I did see a guy buy 3 different bags of dimes Saturday, and they were bulk bags, bigger amounts. I think the biggest one had about, I want to say 80, and there was one with about 45 or something like that. And anyway, he spent about $400 buying dimes in total, because there's quite a bit of them in total. But on this one, I found out this Switzerland coin is actually copper nickel, which I kind of expected it would be. Usually the guy I buy these from, if they're silver ones, he'll mark, and then he'll have a thing on the back where he writes the total amount of silver in the coin by weight. And that's generally how he prices most of his foreign coins like this, unless they're exceptionally rare or something. But if they're fairly common, then he doesn't he just prices them by their silver content for the most part. Now, this is a neat coin. It's Mexican. It's the pyramid down by Mexico City. 1974. It's with mint luster on it, pretty good. And of course, it's Mexico. It's got the eagle eating the snake. But this one's barely circulated. I got it the other day. It's for the nautical box. Just streamed about that, and I thought I'd bought enough new coins to where it would fill it up to where I'd take the ruler and it'd catch. Well, I was able to spread them out, and it didn't catch. It did catch on a couple of them before I spread them out a little bit. So I got a little ways more to go. Maybe another bag. The funny thing about it is, people know I'm filling that up with world coins. Someone suggested I needed. They wanted to know how many coins are in the box. It's a lot. I'm not motivated to count that box of coins. I know there's a lot of Italian coins, the stainless steel 100s, lyres. There's quite a bit of Mexican coins, several different types. A lot of them are these, unpesos. But I've got 100 peso ones. I've got a few thousand peso ones. I think this is 5. It's an older copper one. This is from 1955. And I've picked up a lot of these in the last 2 days. The coin dealer I go to dumped a bag of many large Mexican coins in there. I got some that were 1,000 peso ones, which just goes to show how inflation's working. And other examples is like the 100 lyre Italian coin, that's stainless steel, the size, and then got one today, or maybe yesterday. It's a 200 lyre coin. It's much smaller, thinner, but it's a higher denomination. That's inflation at work for you. The size of the coin gets smaller, the amount it's supposed to be worth is higher. Classic inflation. Happily, though, it seems like our inflation's peaked for the moment. Could be worse. I mean, we could still be paying $5, $6 a gallon of gas right now. Right now, it's dropped. It's under $4 now, which is, definitely an improvement over what it was, but still much higher than it used to be. This is a magician stunt coin, and one guy made a comment. He wanted to see this up close. Well, there it is in all of its glory. Now the other side's a 22-piece dollar design. By the way, this isn't actually a real piece dollar. It's been carved or restruck. This isn't actually silver. I had it tested on a Sigma, and it pings like hell. If I can get it to stay on my finger, I'll show you what I mean. Wow, that's high. very high pitch. 90% silver is not that high, and it rings a lot longer. So this is not a silver coin. Just kind of sad because initially saw it, I thought that somebody spent a lot of time carving this into the coin. And by golly, if you did that, if you could take a coin and you could take a handpiece tool or whatever and carve all this in it, this neatly, you've got insane carving skills. But it turns out this is a magician stunt coin, and you can order them online. You just look at this design real close, and you go on Google and enter magician stunt coins skull. They've got JFK ones, they've got piece dollar ones like this, and a few others. And some of them are the kind that are hollowed out that you press and it opens up and you can hide something in it. You know, all that kind of stuff. But they call them magician stunt coins. Some of the JFKs have his head on both sides, which is kind of weird. You'd think they would fix it to where you'd have the regular back on it, but no. Anyway, it's neat looking, but it's not silver and it's not worth a lot. If I remember correctly, the website would sell them for about $8 something. Now they're shipping too, so you got to take that into account. And I don't know whether there was a way to get free shipping if you ordered a few, like the JFK one, the piece dollar, and a few other different ones. You might be able to get free shipping. I didn't go that far into it, but I do want to go back to that point. You don't want to really, I don't recommend doing a full stack video. It's just not a real good idea, especially if you're one of the guys on YouTube that does a lot of the videos where you're talking directly to the camera in your face. You're very famous in the community. Most of these guys that do it, that talk directly to the camera a lot, most of the people who make videos like this or watch videos probably have watched their stuff. And I'm talking about Rob Finds Treasure, Daniel Malone from Coin Help You, and Silver Seeker mainly. And then Christian, I think from Treasure Town, does a lot of these kind of videos where he talks about coins too. There's other ones too, but I can't think of any offhand at the moment. Those guys are pretty famous by their face. If you see them out in public at a coin show, you're going to know who it is. Now, the fact of the matter is, Daniel runs a store in Ohio, a little city in Ohio called Portsmouth. Anybody goes there and lives in that town probably knows who he is because he's a well-known businessman. And he's in the coin business, and his dad did it. So most people that know anything about coins probably know who he is. So I wouldn't recommend him to do a full stack video. I mean, he does do a lot of videos showing a lot of nice coins that he has at the shop, but he's in the business of buying and selling. So that's what he does. It helps him sell coins. And Rob Finds Treasure, I don't know that he sells a lot of coins, but I know he buys a lot. And he does a lot of row searching, and he has incredible luck finding silver half dollars, be it Benjamins, Walkers, Kennedy halves, whatever. Finds quite a few of them in his row hunts. I'd like to get that lucky to get a few of the rows like he has. But they're famous on YouTube, and anybody that knows anything, watches a lot of these kind of videos, know who they are. I'm not, but yeah, someone like me, I've never shown my face. The closest that I've ever come to showing my face is off of a reflection of something back, and you can see part of my face, but I'm parked behind the phone, so you can't see my full face. Even if I had a mirror here, it would be right at the back of the phone. You might see outline of my head, but that'd be about it. But like I said, if a lot of people watch my videos, that's a neat looking older coin. I think it's Netherlands. It looks like a Viking ship, and it's a 1941, 25 cents. It's like a World War II coin. Of course, they got occupied, and they probably stopped striking them throughout the rest of the war. I think this is Netherlands. It's Nederland, but I'm assuming it's the Netherlands. They fell to the war machine pretty quick, and as did most of Europe. It counted on us in Britain and Russia to free them, and it wouldn't have. It was a rough war, but then war is hell. Anyway, it's getting off the subject a little bit, but no, I don't think you should make a full stack video, in my opinion. It's just not a good idea. Queen Elizabeth. Oh man, let me talk about this again real quick. If you go on YouTube and you search Isle of Man TT race, it's pretty incredible what they set up a course and people on motorcycles ride around the Isle of Man at extremely fast speeds, and you get some pretty crazy video from it. It's pretty neat. It's the kind of stuff I like. I would not ride a motorcycle that fast through the town. That's crazy, but they do it. Hello, HD Dinah Lowrider. I don't know how long you've been in the chat, but I'm just talking about whether or not someone should do a full stack video or not, and reasons why you shouldn't. Not the least of which that if you're showing your face too, you're showing silver and talking about it and doing a lot of videos, and you're really popular and you get big, people are going to know who you are if they watch any YouTube. And if you're out and about in the community a lot, people are probably going to find out who you are, especially if you're buying a lot and selling a lot of coins. They're going to know you're in the business of buying and selling coins, and they're going to know some of them are valuable, and it could make you a target for someone to break into your house and steal what you got. So I do recommend safety deposit boxes, that kind of stuff. Or if you buy a safe, best thing to do if you buy a safe, though, you want to either hide it well in your house, or you want it to be so big and heavy it can't be moved by even 3 or 4 guys, to wrestle it around. That kind of safe will be harder to break into and crack. One of these little ones from Walmart that you can actually carry out by hand, they're not very secure in the fact that, it's just not very big. If they can carry it out of your house, then they can take it wherever they want to, and they can just work that safe until they break it open one way or another. Because a small safe, you got, I don't know, power tools, a sledgehammer, or a big pry bar. I don't think these things are designed to take that kind of punishment. And or you could cut them open even if you got a cutter, but you gotta be careful about that. You could set fire to something that's on the inside, and if there's cash in it, and you burn it all up, it's worthless then. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna keep your stuff in a safe, you want a bigger safe that's really heavy. I recommend one of them big gun safe type things, something like that, or even an older safe, because the newer ones I don't think are as secure as the older ones used to be. But I could be wrong on that. I'm sure some of these safes are pretty safe from casual cracking. Anybody that's a good safe cracker though can break into a safe pretty quick if it's a combination type deal. If that's what you've learned how to do, these kind of safes ain't going to really provide much in the way of difficulty of cracking them. Just busting into a safe, though, it's a lot of physical work. Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen that video. You have to have I think it's a strong earth magnet, but if you've got that, you put it on the thing and you just pull it, slide it across, it'll grab the thing and pull the mechanism and it'll pop right open. It takes only seconds. But then I've seen other videos where the guy says if you're going to keep a safe in your house, the best place is to kind of hide it, because he said most people who break in your house they ain't gonna want to be spending a lot of time looking for stuff. They're gonna grab something pretty quick and get out pretty quick. Because if your town, if you got an alarm system and where you live has good police and they get out quickly, they can respond to your house from wherever they are in minutes. So whoever's breaking in your house, they're gonna grab and run. They're not gonna look for hours. They ain't got hours. Because if your neighbors know you and they see someone at your house that ain't you, and you're friendly with them and they're friendly with you and they kind of like you, then they're going to be like, that guy ain't supposed to be here, or that woman, or whoever it is. And then they see that person carrying stuff out, they're going to be like, they might call the cops. And then, even if you don't have an alarm system, I do recommend, like I said, if you're going to have a safe, the only reason they put it in the sock is so that they can get it back off the safe easier, because those things are really strong magnets. And when they grab hold, it locks pretty tight, and it's kind of hard to pull them back off. That's the why they put it in a sock. But speaking of socks, uh, you need to make a makeshift weapon because you need to defend yourself. If you got something big and heavy, you can just take like a towel, set it in the middle, and fold it over both ways, kind of pull up the two ends, grab them, and then you got like a battering thing. Because, this world's a crazy world, and people want to steal from other people all the time or rob them. And sometimes they'll pull a knife on you. And a knife is only good if you ain't got a gun or whatever, you know. So it's like, if you don't, though, and you got something else, like, I don't know, say a combination wrench that's like a 1.5 or something that's about 1.5 feet long, you can knock that knife right out of someone's hand. And if they keep trying after that, that thing's going to knock them out real quick. It's going to hurt, you know. Yeah, then bang. Yeah, well, I'm just talking about, personal security and stuff, and why I don't think doing a full stack video is a good idea, because, you know, people know who you are and they know you buy coins. It's, and of course, doing a YouTube channel kind of makes you more public about it, because, you look at my table here, you can see Peace dollars and Morgan dollars and other coins, like silver dimes even. You started doing the math in your head and you're like, yeah, it's a fair chunk of change. It ain't very much, but how much does it take for someone to see it and want to steal it? I mean, I've seen guys do a video where they got stacks of Morgan and Peace dollars, and they got like 100 of them. If you got 100 of these laying around your house, that's tempting enough for someone to steal it, because that's a lot of silver and it's a lot of value. And if you got more than that, it's even bigger incentive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hate that shit too. There's That's a problem. Oh yeah, yeah. I just broke my own cardinal rule here. You try not to cuss on my channel, but when you talk about people stealing stuff, like, I don't know, let's say like you got uh, I don't know, a nice looking planter out sitting out in on your front porch, or some kind of decoration on your front porch that's not very valuable, but you come home one day and it's gone. You're not going to be very happy. And that's why I kind of slipped up and said a certain word. I usually don't say these words when I'm doing a live stream or talking in general. Try to keep my videos real clean because, I mean, there's a time and place for dark humor and comedy, but I'm just trying to teach people about coins. So try to avoid saying stuff like that. But that, when people are going around stealing stuff or breaking into houses or going out and cutting catalytic converters off of people's cars, that just drives me crazy because a catalytic converter is expensive. And the way I feel about it is the junkyards, if someone comes in and tries to sell a catalytic converter, sawed off or something, they have to know that's stolen. So why would they do it? Why would they buy it knowing it's stolen? Because receiving stolen property is a crime punishable by jail. I mean, you may not ever see jail time for it by buying one, but if cops ask you, this guy brought that into you, 2 or 3 catalytic converters that were sawed off by a sawzall, and you bought it anyway, you had to know that was not legitimately gotten. I'm looking to see if any of these dimes are estimate ones. There's quite a few Denver ones. Most of these Roosevelts, so there's little or no love for them. These were $2.05 a piece. They're not, they're just general. Most of them are generally circulated a little. Denver, Philly, Denver. I don't think there is an estimate in this. Philly, Denver, 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 Philadelphia. Nope, no estimates. But one coin dealer here did tell me that a lot of the silver quarters and halves and dimes he's been able to get over the years are largely Denver, because where we are, the Denver Mint usually sends the coins to the Philadelphia. That's why drilling holes in gas tanks for a few gallons of gas or siphoning it off. Yeah, that's horrible too. I hate that. I mean, but it's the general lawlessness that's happening around. Yeah, I know. I saw that online. I don't remember. It was hundreds. I think those guys had hundreds of them. And if a cops show up to some kind of shop like that, and it's not a muffler shop, and they're all sawed off, sitting. Some of them are in the state of being torn apart to get to the rare metals that are in them. Then you can just about pretty much assume it's a chop shop. Nothing more, nothing less. And I do want to make one comment. I was driving around earlier today. This happens a lot around in this town. You come up on a light where you got the green and the other light is red. If they're driving a BMW, Mercedes, or some other expensive foreign car, those guys tend to drive right around that corner and turn on the red during green a lot. It happens a lot around here. I see it all the time. And I guess they think, oh, I got a Mercedes, I'm king of the world. I don't know. Or they're just bad drivers in general. I don't understand it. I don't know why that it's that way, but the problem with these expensive cars like that is a Mercedes, when it's new, it's a nice car. You start getting one that's 15 years old, 150,000 miles on it, and pretty soon all you got is a rust bucket that's no longer nice and costs a lot of money to keep it running. Therefore, a lot of these people do not do upkeep on them. There's this one YouTube channel guy. He's a repair guy, and he does Audis. AUDI, I think it is. They're kind of a mid expensive car. They're not quite as expensive as some of them, but they're a lot more than most U.S. cars. And they'll pull in, and he'll look at the car, and he'll be like, "Wow, A lot of them have what he calls a self-lubrication chassis system, meaning the engine's leaking oil in many places. It prevents rust on your suspension, but and they don't have much interest in keeping the car leak-proof after that. And some of his videos are pretty funny. I like his videos. I watched a whole bunch of them in about a week and a half time. He kind of loses his mind about how bad some of these cars, the upkeep has been on them. But, I'll put these dimes here. They're going in the treasure chest. $2.05 a piece. It's about as cheap as I've seen dimes in several months. I hadn't bought very many dimes for my treasure chest in a long time because I was able to get a lot of them real early for about $2.10, in January and stuff each, or $2.15. Once they started going for like $2.25, $2.30 per dime, I was starting to think that's just a little bit more per coin than I feel like paying. Especially when I can get quarters for $4 sometimes. You start talking, it takes 5 dimes to make 2 quarters, in weight and value. If they're $2.25 and a dime or quarters $4.50 or something, it's cheaper to buy quarters. So when I'm stacking and buying stack coins, it's kind of, just ones that are generally circulated in common. It's kind of what I do. I go in and see what's selling for what and kind of do the math in my head. So like say there's 2 quarters and they're $4.75 a piece, but he's got half dollars like Benjamins for say they're 9 even. Well, $4.75 is $9.50. So 2 quarters cost you 50 cents more than the Benjamin does. At that point, the Benjamin's a better buy than the 2 quarters are, unless they're a little bit better conditioned ones or something, or some more, a little bit better date standing Liberty or one of the Barbers that's in better shape. This one's not in very good shape, but it is an Orleans mint, which I don't have a whole lot of Orleans mint quarters. One of them just went away as a gift. Someone's going to get a nice little gift in the mail, and I think they're going to be happy when they see it. I'm not spilling the beans too much because he's not here right now. Sometimes he joins a lot of my live streams. It's kind of one reason why I sent him one. Now, if old CCC is still here, I sent him a Benjamin because he said in the chat once, after he sent me the sticker anyway, he said in the chat, I don't have any Benjamins. Oh, hello, AG Stacker. I didn't know you were around. How you doing? Have a look at this. It's a bit worn. I'm going to show you the mint mark because if you love the old mint, you can see that little 0 right there. Well, not 0, but old. These in better condition are kind of nice coins. I'll show you a different one. It's a bit worn. 1902 $half. Always right down on the tip of the tail. Come on, focus. There you go. Well, this was $12 the other day, a while back. And it's funny because I kind of showed it to somebody and they're like, why are you buying kind of worn out slick ones like this? So, well, this represents history here. This coin got circulated a long time. My guess is up until after World War II, this is probably in general circulation. Then on the flip side of it is, if this was an uncirculated one, this or this is 1905S. If these were uncirculated versions of this, they're not very often you find uncirculated ones. But these 2 coins in Mint State 60 be $1,000 coins each. Almost all the Barber halves in Mint State are $1,000 coins at least. And if they get like Mint State 63 or higher, you're starting to talk 2 or 3 thousand. That's just because almost none of these escape this kind of wear. So I really like these. Now, AG Stacker, I did send you a package. It's in the mail since you don't live too many states away from me. I think you're probably going to get it Tuesday at the latest. Yeah, I know. I mean, you think about it. This one right here, if I remember correctly, San Francisco had the big quake in 1908, I think it was. Might have been 1909, but this is a 1905, so it's this particular coin could have actually been in a big earthquake and survived. Whether it was in someone's pocket, who knows? But yeah, it's damaged. I mean, it's got a big chip in it and a couple dings and a big scratch here and a scratch there, which don't line up. I'm not really sure exactly what happened to this to put these gouges on it. A lot of history, though. Not near as old. Mr. JFK. This is a 64D. Damn near gone. It is heavily worn. The date is gone, but I know it's a 64D because there's still a bit of a mint mark there. Barely visible, but there's a D there, and it'd be easier to see if this was a bigger screen. It's about halfway gone though, but I know it's a Denver mint one, so I know it's a 64 because Denver didn't make these again until I believe it was 68 maybe, because the 65, 66, and 67 were all Philadelphia, and they were all special mint set coins for the most part. They might have made a few for circulation too. I don't remember exactly, but just know that if it's got a D on the back of it and it's a JFK like this and it's on the back, a D, that's a Denver 64 because the mint marks move from the back to the front after that. You know, by the time 68 came around and they started putting mint marks on them, they were all on the front, not on the back. So that's how you kind of tell that. But there's a lot of history to that coin. And then this one. This is a seated Liberty quarter. The date's gone. It's heavily worn. I know it's an estimate one because there's part of an estimate on the back, but we'll try to pull the date up. At the bottom here, there is no date to be seen. There's not even a hint of a date there. I can't see any trace of a date. But I know it's in 1866 or later because of the ribbon. And there's part of an estimate right there. It's almost gone, but it's still there. So this thing saw a lot of circulation too. Lots of circulation. So 1866, it's at the oldest, 1891 at the newest. This coin probably stayed in circulation till, I'm guessing, World War II, maybe a little after. Through the Depression, for sure. I'm almost 100% positive that these coins, all these kind of coins, stayed in, these barbers, even though they're making different designs by the Depression, the 30s, they were making walkers. They still circulated. And the Standing Liberty quarters and all of them, they all stayed in circulation for quite some time. I don't know, really when they started going out, but like this Mercury dime, I'm assuming this one stayed into circulation well after they stopped making Mercury dimes. I mean, the rim's almost totally gone. The date, it's got a 1, part of the 9, part of what looks like another 1, and maybe a tip of a 7. So this might be a 1917 one. If it had a mint mark, it's totally gone. So that represents a lot of wear and tear, in my opinion, a lot of circulation. So it probably stayed in circulation to who knows when. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this. And then it kind of came into a hangout because some people showed up and I could talk to them and show them stuff. But yeah, AG Stacker. You can see this is a 28 piece dollar. Not a Philadelphia, though. That's a definite 28. It's an S Mint one. S Mints over there, pretty small. But my point of education on these is a coin dealer I go to, he told me if you're buying a 28 Philadelphia, he recommended buying a graded one. Because he said some people will take and they will work the S off of this. It's pretty, on this one, it's pretty worn. I mean, the coin's got general wear. It's probably goodish, maybe very good. I mean, it's got a lot of details left too, but it was in a bag of price less than what the online dealers want cold for cold ones. On a 34 here, and it's an S one too. It's got a little wear. It's kind of hard to see the mint mark on this, but it's right there, and it's a definite S. See part of the pointing up with the serif on the S. It's not the right shape to be a Denver one, put it that way. So it's an S one. 34S in high state, like mint state. This is a pretty expensive coin in mint state, 60 or higher. I believe the last time I looked it up is somewhere around $8,000 at least in mint state. So the reason being is San Francisco dumped most of these into circulation. They made just a tick over 1 million of them. And how many of them are out there in this kind of condition or better condition, I don't know. But I have in my possession 4 34S's, which, they're all generally circulated. Although the USA Coin Book says for a good 4 on these, it's supposed to be $74 coins. Ain't none of the ones I bought costed me near that much. This was $28. But in that bag, he had all these piece dollars, some 21 Morgans. And he had 16 from 1927 and later. I already just went over that looking at the blue book on the mintages. None of the coins after 27, the piece dollars, exceeded 2 million in circulation, mintage. So all of them are a little bit lower mintage than a lot of, Morgan dollars and the early piece dollars when they made tens of millions. The last few years of these are pretty low mintage. So the fact that there was 16 of them in the bag being sold as coal type coins tells me that whoever had the bag was a little bit of a collector, because 9 times out of 10 when I see a bag of loose piece dollars like this, they're all 23s, 22s, 24s, and maybe 25 or 26. Almost never do you see 27, 28, 34, 35s. One of the 35s was in spectacular condition, actually. Barely circulated. It looked nice. But, and one other thing about SACE, they have this inside hinge, right? And it's got a little pocket under it. That's where this thing disappeared. I about pulled my hair out once a week or two ago when I was looking for this and I couldn't find it. Pulled everything out of the safe and I still couldn't find it. I was feeling around in the edges and I felt underneath where the hinge is. There's a little pocket there, just wide enough that this could slide in and just thick enough that it would settle underneath it. Now I could get my finger on it, and it wasn't very easy to pull it out. It's a 1 ounce silver bar plated in gold. America the Beautiful. Apparently they made 50 different ones of these, and I'm not sure if they were all plated in gold or if that was just something they did with some of them. or but apparently there's 50 different ones. I assume since America the Beautiful. I think they made these in the 70s. Hey, Welcho, how's it doing? How you doing? Just talking about how I don't think people should make full stack videos and stuff and security around your house. And, leave it to HD Diner Writer to get me to cuss when he's talking about people thieving and stealing from people. I don't like that stuff, and I didn't say stuff. But how you all doing? I hope you're doing good. But I live streamed earlier about my nautical box. And I was just talking about it, and I put another batch of coins in. Yeah. Well, I mean, some guys, they don't have a whole lot. So if you throw out $10 or $20 face on a table and you say, this is my full stack, maybe you got a couple 1 ounce coins or one 10-ounce bar or something, it'll make you a big target. What'll make you a big target is if, like you're a coin dealer guy, drop me a dime. Coin dealers, or a guy like Silver Seeker, who has a big channel and he shows his face all the time. People are going to know who he is by his side if they watch these videos very much. So like, I know that guy. So that's one reason why I've never done a face reveal, and I don't really plan on ever doing one. I mean, that might change, but for now, I'm not doing a face reveal video. I don't have any plans to do that. AG Stacker, I am, yeah, I've got protection. A lot of people have protection, but if you ain't home when it happens, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. Alarm systems. No, this particular bar is the only 1 ounce bar I have. I have, I think, 3 Buffaloes, a few Maple Leafs, maybe 8 American Silver Eagles, 10, something like that. The Sedove nautical ounce, a few other random 1 ounce coins that are generics, basically, and a Krugerrand one, but in a Philharmonic. For the most part, though, most of my stack is 90% U.S. silver. And my treasure chest challenge thing. By the way, this whole idea to do this, to fill this thing up, I was watching New Silver Stacker in January, I think it was, early. He, wow, trained German Shepherd. That'll keep most people out of your house. Big dog. Anyway, he had a little treasure chest and stuff. And I was watching his video and I made a comment about it. I said, that's kind of cool. I need to get one of those. And he said, if you get one, we could do a little challenge, see who can fill one of these up in a year. And turns out, he bought some Constitutional, and then he started buying expensive premium type 1 ounce coins. Now he said he's going to only stack mainly 90% stuff. And he had bought a few dollars face today or this weekend or whatever it was. But it was kind of his idea. And then McDonald Boyan, he got one. He lives in Britain, so he had some old British silver coins, and he started talking about wanting to fill up a treasure chest. Wasatch Wizard also talked about it, and Jay Parker Silver Stacker. They all had treasure chests, and they all talked about filling them. And I've been consistently buying a few dollars face here, a few dollars there, $1 if that's all I felt like I can get that week, or as little as like 35 cents, 1/4 and 1 dime one time. That was all I bought that day. But whatever it was, I kept buying. this is the reveal of how many dollars face is in this chest. Well, it's not in it right now, but I mean, when I do the fill it up and make a video next, that's how much will be in it, plus whatever I get between now and then. But I was kind of hoping Frosty would show up. I mean, I am showing 2 of his stickers, but he hasn't shown up and made a comment yet, but that's okay. But yeah, there's still a lot of things going on in the world I don't like. With continued inflation, certain items that you buy, food or something, it's a lot more than it used to be a couple years ago. Well, I'm so far ahead of New Silver Stacker. I mean, in terms of how much of this I've got, in that treasure chest. I mean, if you took every piece of silver he had in his last video, he's talking about all the quarters and dimes, and he had some 21 Morgan dollars. I don't think he has any peace dollars right now. But anyway, if he took all of them and counted up the face value, it would be less than this. This is a pretty good amount, actually, when you start thinking about it. Because about $1.40 is circulated. That'd be 14 of these dimes. $1.40 of this, that'd take 4 of these off. And pick this up. This is pretty close to 1 ounce of silver. I think there's 14 here. Another way to put it is 0.715 ounces of silver per dollar face. But then the dollar coins throw that off slightly. Because for the treasure chest, I've got $8 coins in it. 3 Morgans and 5 peace dollars. Although a couple of these are worn out pretty far. I think this one only weighs 25 something grams. I weighed them. It's a peace dollar. It's just worn out real bad so far that the date's gone. I can't even tell a hint of a date on it. This one's slightly slicked, not as bad. This one's slicked pretty bad. But, when I started in January, he had these 2, my coin dealer, $16 and $17. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm doing a fill this chest up with stuff, I need to have a few dollar coins in there too. And at 16, that's 16x face, that's not very expensive. A couple of these were 20 something. I think this was $22 or $23. It's a 26, which I think it was in a bag of loose, peace dollars at a certain price, or maybe it's sold as slightly damaged. This was glued in a belt buckle, which, by the way, Saturday, I was at the coin dealer and talking to him, and I bought these 2 peace dollars. Guy come in, he said, this woman out front selling these belt buckles that can hold a silver dollar. So what I did on my live stream yesterday is I unscrewed this, took this off, put this peace dollar in it, and it looked a little bit like this, although it was on the inside. It's kind of nice looking, actually, and stuff. That won't focus very good. There we go. But it doesn't hold the focus all the time. But I thought it was kind of nice to get, and it was $4. It says it's made in the United States. The old price tag was $20. But the person said the person who was selling all this stuff, they went out of business, and I think it was their mom or something, and she died, and then they had all this junk left over from that business, a lot of collectible stuff like this, and they were just trying to sell it and get rid of it. And they had a lot to, get rid of. So for $4, I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. That's kind of cool. Do you think he'll get it filled up? I don't know. I think his treasure chest is actually a little bit bigger than what mine is. And the bottom of it's like thin balsa wood. It's not very strong. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, months ago, or 2 or 3. So I don't remember exactly when it was. I went to my coin dealer and he had this. It's a 21 Denver. I've had it Sigma test. Showed it to a different guy and he put it on his Sigma and said, "Yeah, it's the right. Looks right. Everything about it's right. It's a 21 Morgan dollar hole in it for $18." And I'm like, at $18, to me, this is a no-brainer to buy. I like the way the toning looks on it. It's black ring around the edge. It's a pleasing toning. It's not an ugly toning. To me, it isn't anyway. Some people might think it's ugly. But for $18, I told him if you run across any more with a hole in it and you'll sell it like this, I'd buy it. I'd buy one today. Now, I did go to a different guy. This one's got a smaller hole in it. And it's an 1878, so it's a little bit more premium to me. And I was, when he showed it to me, he told me, yeah, I can take this and put it in ultrasound, get a chain, make a necklace, and probably sell this for $35 or maybe $40. But he showed it to me, said, "Do you want it?" And he gave me a price. If I remember correctly, it was $30, which is a little high. I didn't really want to pay that much, but he took the time to find it and show it to me. So I went ahead and paid for it. I feel like I paid up a little, but on the flip side of the coin, this guy has sold me a bunch of Standing Liberty quarters with the dates worn off for $4. And if you go on, and some of them were $4.50 and some were $5, but he sold a lot of them to me for $4 lately. If you go on eBay and search deplorable condition Standing Liberty quarters, and see what they want for them, I'll save you the trouble. They were $7.98 was about the cheapest with shipping each. So if I can get them for $4, it's only a little bit over melt. And I've probably got I'd say I've bought about $15 face for this treasure chest from that guy, mostly Standing Liberties. Now, he's also the guy I got this from. It was $7. And then this was $4 and a dime he had, and he said both for $5. And I said, okay, I'll buy that. This is history anyway. And he also sold me this piece dollar that was glued into a belt buckle or maybe a money clip. He said 23, and then I kind of looked at it. It's got a lot of glue on the back, little damage. It's okay, $20. I don't know. Would you buy this for $20? So I felt like he's giving me some pretty good deals. So if I overpaid for the one Morgan dollar a little bit, so be it. I don't mind overpaying it once in a while if you're buying and the guy gives you good deals other times. But this, being that this is an 1878, it's the first year Morgan dollar. And I'm not really sure. Yeah, you'd buy the $20 piece dollar or the $18 Morgan. I don't know if I'd pay $30 for another one of these. But if someone had one for about 25 or less, I'd probably do it. If it wasn't a 21, that is. That's what I'm getting at. Any Morgan dollar that's not a 21 with a hole in it like this, I'd probably buy it too. Even though, it's a hole, kind of ruins any collectible value, but it does, it is a Morgan dollar. And right now, if you go on certain online websites and try to buy piece dollars or Morgan dollars in coal condition or Amex, worse than coal, they had that. And they said some might have holes, some might be bent, some might have other condition problems or a lot of wear, but you don't get to pick. They're just going to send you what they got. So I'm like, I actually get to see this first and say, I kind of like the way this looks. It too has a bit of a pleasing type toning to it. It's kind of dark, but I kind of like it. And it is an S. It's not the 8-tail feather one or anything like that, but I mean, if it's the 8-tail feather one, it'd be a little bit more collectible, even with the hole, probably, because they didn't make them very long or a whole lot of them. But it's an S Mint. But yeah, I don't know if I'd pay $30 again for one, but I might. It's still if 21. I wouldn't. I mean, because you can buy 21 ones that are like extra fine on those websites. I think for $28, maybe 29, 28.99, something like that. I don't think you would be able to get, um, you know, but yeah, for $18, I'm a buyer of a 21, even with a hole like this. Heck, I'd buy one of these if it was bent, like had a bend to it. If it was $18, it's damaged, it's bent. I don't care. $18, for a Morgan dollar isn't too bad. Now, let's go ahead and do the math on this. To point, we'll just go 7.7 because some of them are worn out so bad and a couple got holes. Times there's 8 equals 6.16 ounces. We'll add that into the memory. That leaves me 79.05 in 90% silver. So we'll clear the air off. 79.05. Now you can do it either way, it doesn't matter. You can multiply it by 0.715 for general circulation, which comes up 56.5. And you add memory. Memory recall. Okay, so in my treasure chest challenge, it's a grand total of 62.68 ounces of silver. And the box holds it. I've had it all in there recently. Doesn't look like it's going to break out the bottom, although the wood on these is kind of thin on the bottom. I'm not sure I'd trust it to be, domed up, big stack in it and pick it up. But if it's not over the top, I don't think it's going to break. Now, being that this is troy ounces, you divide this by 12 ounces. This will tell you how many troy pounds is in it. 5.22, almost 5.25 troy pounds of silver for the treasure chest challenge. It's not bad. And a lot of people just talk about getting to a 100-ounce stack. Well, if I didn't have any other, silver coins at all, I'd be well on my way towards this 100-ounce stack at 62.5, just over 62.5 troy ounces of silver in 90%. Because, the dollar coin has a little bit more silver by weight because it's a bit heavier than two $half. So it's a little more silver. So it makes the math a little different. A straight 87.5. Clear this out. 80.0. Oh, wait. Sorry. 87.05 times 0.45. If it's all. Wait a second. Coming up 62.25 if it was all 90% regular coins. And that doesn't quite sound right. What did I say the other thing was? 62.68. So it's not that much more silver, even though it's $8 coins more. Oh well, what can you do? Anyway, looking at the time, I've got to do some stuff tonight before going back to work tomorrow. And one last little coin bonus here. These are general circulation coins that Mexico made on pesos. This is a 71, but in terms of wear and tear, this one, it looks like it's AU at the worst. Yeah, dang work, I know, dang work. Well, I'm not rich enough to just go in and say I'm not working no more. But that's that. It's not a silver coin. It's not real collectible, but this one's about as nice a one of these as I've seen. And I think I've got every single year they made these. This particular design, that is. I think it was from, I want to say 68 to 1982 or some such. And then they changed the design. And the peso coins got smaller and the denomination got bigger. But I mean, like this. I think this is back in the day. It's a 55 coin. It's really large. To give you an idea how big it is, it's sitting right on top of this Morgan dollar. So it's a big, big copper coin. I think it's a 5 denomination, 5 peso. This one is a 20 centavos. But if you know your Mexican coins, years later, they had like 50 and 100, 500 and 1,000 peso coins that are much smaller than this one is. This also has the neat eagle eating the snake design that's not lines. And it's not horribly worn. But I like this back, this design. I like that quite a bit. Well, yeah, that's true. But our wealth, I feel like, now let's talk about that. I looked at the debt clock the other day. Last 2 years, under all this spending because of COVID and other reasons, the United States has picked up a good $5 to $6 trillion more debt on top of what we already had. And I think it was $25 trillion debt, and that doesn't include the future liabilities. That's just the current, as it stands, debt. And my saying to anybody is, we reached a point of no return where there was no plan to pay back our national debt. No feasible plan, anyway, at some point. To me, I'm thinking it happened when the national debt crossed $1 trillion, probably back in the late 70s sometime. When that was $1 trillion back then, there was no plan to ever pay that back. It's never going to get paid back. We'll never pay it back. They can't inflate our way out of it fast enough. I mean, and they've done all kinds of stuff talking about it over the years. And, whoever isn't in power beats the other party up about national debt and deficits. And then when they're in power, they don't do anything about it. They say they're going to until they get in power, and then they don't do anything about it. They just pile on more debt. There's always another emergency. There's always something. So I think it's 26 something trillion in debt as a country. And there ain't no way they're ever going to pay that back. They can't even get a balanced budget. I mean, they said when Clinton was president for a few years, we had a balanced budget, but you go back and look at the national debt, it grew every year. And to me, if you're saying you have a surplus, that means the debt can't grow. It has to be going down in my book. I don't mean just the annual. We spent less than we made, brought in as a country, the taxes and stuff. That's what they said happened for about 4 years during Clinton's presidency. but the debt went up every year. It didn't go up real fast, but it went up every year. So 30 trillion today, are you right? That's that much? Wow. Well, let's see. There's 300. What is it? How many millions of people are in the country right now? Is it 230 million or some such? I can't really even do the math on that one. But 30 trillion would be 30,000 billion. And if I'm right, it would be 3 million millions. Oh, it's 330 million? Oh, well. 30 trillion, that's 300 or 30 million millions, which is a strange way to put it, but if it's that much, you divide that by 330. Approximate debt per citizen stands at $90,909.09. Well, I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and pack up. This is a joke, by the way. 9 cents. Put it in an envelope, send it to the treasury, and say I'm paying part of my debt, because that's what I can afford to send. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing they can do. They always talk about it, though. I'll give them that. If you're not in power, you pulverize the other party about overspending all the time. And yet, as soon as the power switches, though some people keep talking about it, but for the most part, they shut up and the other party starts talking about it. They talk about it, they kick the can down the road, they don't really do nothing. Oh yeah, that too. You're right, Welchko. We'll put that up there for everybody to see real quick. Have a look at that number. That's how much we're entitled to spend as of right now for all these things he's talking about. 250 trillion more on top of the 30 trillion we owe right now on the books, on the paper. Well, we'll never get along. Whoops. Stop fighting. Here, we'll just put that up there too. Read that, you guys. Can't we all just get along? Well, ask yourself the question. Why did Russia invade the Ukraine? They had claims on it, and my lord, they're paying a heavy price for doing that. It's all because of Putin. They're losing soldiers left and right. They're losing equipment. They're losing jets. They're losing way more than they'll ever gain from doing it. So you have to ask yourself, at what point do they finally say enough is enough? Get us out of there. I mean, how many people can you bury before or as Gunny Highway said in Heartbreak Ridge, how many, if we go to war tomorrow, you're going to plant half of those men. And that meant they're going to be in the ground. And he's like, I'm going to train them to be true Marines. But that's the point. How many people is Putin willing to sacrifice to get what he wants? And how long will they let him do it before they finally say enough is enough and take him out of power? He's been in the premier or the president or whatever they call him for a long time now. And it's about time for them to say enough is enough. We can't keep having soldiers die. We can't keep having jets getting shot down. We can't keep losing tanks. Can't keep losing all this stuff. Or else what's going to happen if someone finally, has enough and says, we're going to make you leave? Because they could do it. That could happen. I don't know if it will, but it could happen. And the amount of, force that's on all borders on the European front is enough to to make a pretty serious dent in their military. So how much does Russia want to lose doing this? Don't know. This has went off on all kinds of different subjects, but that's what happens when I'm reading the chat. People talk about stuff that I wasn't talking about. But in general, I started this out talking about full silver stack or gold stack videos and should you do them. And I'm a proponent of not doing it. I mean, you show some, talk about it, whatever you want, as just as a talking about silver type channel. But I don't think you should just go out and show everything that you have, because do a full stack, every coin, every American Silver Eagle, every bar. Some people do it, but I don't think you really should. It's probably not the greatest idea. But if you're doing a YouTube channel, it's kind of hard to be real private about it, because you're doing a channel that anybody. Yeah, well, the difference there, we'll put that up there for a second. The difference there, HD, is they got invaded by Germany. And when you invade another country, they're going to fight more seriously than they are if they're invading, because once you invaded, you got resistance, especially if the other country doesn't want you there, which nobody does, pretty much. So you're going to be fighting down resistance everywhere you go. But they got invaded during World War II. They had to know it was coming, but whatever. You march your way into another country, they're going to fight you more seriously than they are, and with more intense fighting to get you out. It's just the way it always has been, and probably always will be. But yeah, I do kind of agree with you. It would be nice if we could get along, but I don't see it happening. Not anytime soon, and for all sorts of reasons. But maybe someday it'll happen, but I don't think it would be in my lifetime. But I don't know. So I'm going to leave this video for people to watch if they want to watch it, because as my channel goes forward and grows, I'm getting close to 1,000 subs, which is enough to be a YouTube partner channel and have advertising and stuff and make money, monetized. But I don't have the hours. You got to have a certain number of view hours, and I'm not even close, because shorts don't count. And I do a lot of shorts just because they do get viewed a lot. Most of my longer videos get 30, 40 views. It's just, yeah. It just doesn't add up to enough view hours to get me that. Now, that doesn't mean that YouTube might not change that in the future sometime if, their shorts start getting real popular, and some of these people who do shorts and they're bigger channels and people watch their shorts 200,000 or 300,000 times, they might get to put ads on them, and they might monetize that channel, even if it's just a shorts channel. But even at that, I'm still short that way. Even if they counted all the shorts, my total view time is still quite a bit short of 4,000 hours, and that's the line. You got to have 4,000 public watch hours plus 1,000 subscribers. Well, I'm not that far away on subs. I'm looking, it says 960, so I'm not very far away as subs goes, but I'm pretty far away in hours. But that's the point I was making tonight. There will be no full stack videos from me, and I don't really recommend other people to do it. Especially not if you're one that, you show your face a lot in your videos. Because then everybody that watches this stuff, and if they watch and you do enough, they can kind of tell where you live and stuff, and maybe, at least what city, and probably be able to narrow it down that way and pick up a phone book and probably find out where you live, unless everything's unlisted. But even at that, There are ways to find out where people live if you have their whole name. Oh, I forgot you were having that. I don't remember even how to enter into the giveaway. Um, I'll tell you what, I'll go look at your thing and see what I can do. I can't remember what I'm supposed to do though. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this because I've been going for almost an hour and a half. It's one of my longer live streams I've done. I don't think it's the longest, but it's getting pretty close. But y'all have a good night, and I will see you next time. I made a few shorts earlier. I'm going to schedule them out to go live this next week. I already have a few set and ready to go, so I'm not going to do that tonight. But have a good night, everybody, and we will chat again soon.